Hi guys, welcome to session 37 of Java Full Stack Made Easy. So in this session, as discussed in the previous session, that we will be talking about the UI technology now. So we'll start up with HTML, then CSS, then we'll talk about JavaScript, and then we will move to Angular. Fine. So if you're liking the series, do subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. So let's get started with this HTML fundamentals. So we will talk about only those things that are actually required for our uh, future sessions. Fine. So there is a lot about HTML and you can definitely learn a lot of things about HTML. We will not go in very depth of HTML, but those things we will discuss which will be required in our future sessions. Fine. So for this HTML and all, what I have done is I've actually installed Visual Studio Code. So I'll be writing HTML on VS Code, Visual Studio Code. So let's create a directory first, and we will open that particular folder itself, and we'll be working on that. Fine. So let's go ahead and create a new directory. Let's call it as HTML fundamentals, and or we'll just call it as Java full stack made easy UI. So within that particular folder itself, we'll be creating the other files. So I will be opening that particular folder here, which is Java full stack made easy UI. Fine. So here I'll be adding up my UI details. All right. So I want to create a HTML. First thing is very basic thing about HTML is that it is used to design a web page. Hypertext markup language. It is used to design a web page. Fine. So let's now create files within this. So in Visual Studio Code, if you just click on this, you'll be able to create a new file. So I'll be creating a very simple HTML page first. So let's call this as my first.html. So here is the first HTML page that's being created. So I'll be creating a very simple HTML page. Let's create it. HTML. Fine. So an HTML structure would look like this, an HTML tag. There will be a start tag and there will be an end tag. And it's not compulsory, but when you run it on server, it's required. Fine. So HTML pages, let me just increase the size of this so that it is visible for you. Fine. So let me just close this. All right. So now what I actually want is I have this HTML stuff included here, that is the tag, and in a web page we have a heading section. So in HTML we have head tags where we can put the headings. So we can just say head, and within this particular section we can put a title which is going to be the title of a web page. So let's call this as maybe my first HTML page or something, and then there will be a body of HTML. So I'll be writing the body as well, and I'll just say this is the body, or maybe hello world or something in here. Okay, so let's write that, save it, and run the HTML page. So to run an HTML page, you don't need any extra softwares. uh, you can even write HTML on Notepad and then you can run it on any browser. Fine. So, but what I have done is I have just installed the extension with this VS Code. The extension is the live server, so that we can directly open it with the live server and see the HTML pages on the server. Fine. So you can see that the server is started on 5500, and it is opening a browser for me. And it prints me hello world, and also the title is being displayed here. That is my first page. So for installing the extensions and all, so you have the extensions here. You can go to the extensions and then you can simply search for the live server. So if you search for the live server, you will see that uh, the live server will come up and you can install the live server. Fine. So I've installed the live server. You can see that here. I have installed the live server. So that's why I'm able to just right click on this particular page and open it into a live server. Fine. And because of which itself my server has started on the port and all that you can see. Fine. So here is my first HTML page where I have written a body and then I have a title. Now for this body, there are some predefined tags available in HTML, which is generally pre-formatted like the headings and all. So what I can do is I can simply say H1, it is from H1 to H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Likewise, you will be having these tags. So these are actually predefined tags which will come up with its own formatting. So it will be a bit bigger than the normal hello world that I have seen before. So you can see that this is how it has changed. Now similarly, what I will do is I'll try and write some more the H2. Let's call this as maybe something like subtitle or something. Fine. So let's save it. And similarly, I'll go till what H5 I will write. So I'll say hello H5 and let's save it, and there we go. So here we have and the hello world subtitle and the H5. So likewise, can we have like H6, H7, H8, H9 likewise? So let's go ahead and see the heading tag H6, save it, and there we go. Yes. Now I'll try and write H7 and see whether it gets more smaller or what. Fine. But when I write H7, you notice that yeah, I will just change this to H7 and H6 so that you can see it there. But see, there is nothing like H7. So our heading tag begins with H1 and ends to H6 itself. There is nothing called as H7 there. So HTML, one more thing about HTML is that uh, if suppose I write something like a tag, maybe I'll say kuch bhi tag, right? Fine. So I'll just say test and save it, and there you go. So you can have that. It's like if you give some invalid tags at that time, you're not going to get any error on this. Fine. HTML pages it's just gonna render the text. So it understands that there's a tag, and then you can simply render it. Just simply renders the text there. So that's you can say either an advantage of HTML or a limitation of HTML. So here you don't get errors related to your designing and all that. Fine. So similarly, what we can do is we can create paragraphs in HTML. So we can have uh, the headings like this defined for titles and everything, and then we can even have paragraphs defined for the text blocks. So now let's just look at an example of a paragraph, and then we'll move ahead. For example, see, I'm writing something like something is being written. Okay, so I am now writing this is second line. Okay, hello test. So I have actually written 3 lines on this VS Code. That is my on my editor. I have written 3 lines. When I save it and go to the browser, you can notice that it is all on the single line itself, right? So that's how it has come up, and what can be done. And also you can notice as this hello H7 test could be and all that. They are all on the same line itself, even though they are written in some tags, right? So HTML tells you that there is a BR tag that is actually used to break the line. So you can save it, and there's a BR tag, and that actually uh, breaks the line. So let's put it here. So you can see that this has broken this something else break line. Again, now you can see that it is broken like that. So that way you can keep adding the break lines, and it will keep breaking the line. BR tag is used for line breaks. Fine. So similarly, what we have is we also have the tags again, the text formatting tags which we can use, which is suppose let me first write a text hello world itself. So I want to make it bold, so I can simply have a B tag which is for bold. Similarly, if I want this to be italic, I can use an I tag for italic. So you'll see that hello test is being will be bold and italic. If I want to underline it, I can make use of an underline, that is U tag. Very, very basic tags these are. So it is now bold, italic as well as underline. So similarly, what we can also do is we can make use of the style, and then providing the styles for the text. We can use the font tag and also provide the fonts as well. Either you can use a span style and then, or else what you can do is you can also use a font tag and then use it. So let me just test these things. So I can go for a font tag. Okay, so I can simply say font face equals to uh, let's say Algerian, and the testing font tag is what I'll write. So let's just save it, and you can see that it has come up in the Algerian style. Fine. So similarly, we can even give the font size as well, font face, font size and all that. So you can even give the color for the font, you can give the background, and all those things can be given. And another tag that can be used for the formatting, which I told you, can be a span. You use a span, and within that, let's just say my text, and I can use a style attribute and style this. These are actually CSS styles which we can use here. So I'll just give a color, any color of my choice. Maybe I'll select blue colored text should be there. So let's save it, and we will see that the text is in blue color. So that way we can perform text styling, we can increase the size of the text and all, do all that. So like this blue colored text that you have seen, you might have generally seen that for the links, right? So HTML also provides us concepts like links there, which is used to link from one page to another page. So for that, obviously, I just have one single page over here. So I can link it either to my internal pages, that means the HTML pages, or I can link it to an external source, like maybe I can go to Google. If you click on the link that I provide, you can go to the Google as well, or any of the website of your choice. So let's see that example as well. A hyperlink I'm providing. So here I have to provide the complete address and then the text for the link. So let's just give Google and give the address for Google, that is http colon slash slash google.com. So that way we should be able to see the text Google here, and then upon clicking of Google, it should open Google for us. Fine. So this way we can create hyperlinks. All right. So similarly, what we can also put is we can put the images as well. So for images, we can simply say img source, the image source, and then whatever is the image source, you can put that particular image in here. Fine. So with the image, we can also have an alternate text. If image is not available, we can display that. So which is cannot find image, something like that. Okay. And we can even give the size for these images. As of now, I'm not providing anything. So obviously it should show me that text which says cannot find the image. And if I want to display the image, I have to provide in the fully qualified path for that particular image. And the way we use into the real world examples is that whichever application you are hosting, there you will have these images and CSS files and all that as public directories. So better to keep it in your directory itself, and then from there itself you give the path. Because see, I can even go to my my folder that I created just now, and from that particular folder I can link to any of the picture that is available into my machine. But the problem is that uh, if I run it on a browser, right? So this runs on the customer side. So they will not be having the image exactly at the same location, right? For example, if I am running this website on my machine and in D drive I have some image, so the same image is not possible to be there, right, in the customer's C drive. If I have it in D drive, customer's D drive will not be having that particular image. So that's why these images, CSS files and all, we have to provide it with the, we have to host it with our website itself. And these files are called as the public files. So we have to provide that with our application itself. Fine. So I'll go to downloads and check if I have any image over there. And the same image, I'd like to just add it to the application. So you have an Angular logo and the MySQL logo. So I'll copy it and let's go to the directory that we were into, which is again there on my D drive. So let's go to D drive and here. So I'll create a directory for images. So here folder, let's call it as images. This is how generally it is done. Okay. So within that I will paste this logo, which is JPG file, MySQL logo. So let's just rename it so that it will be easy for us to write that there, or else we can simply copy it from here and give the link source MySQL logo.jpg. Now it will not find that particular image because my HTML file and the logo are not there in the same directory. So when I try and do this, you can see that it is still not finding the image. That's because it is actually present into a directory called as images, right? So images slash MySQL logo.jpg. Now it can find that particular image and it will display that image. So I was expecting it to display the image, images slash MySQL logo.jpg. So that's correct. Yeah, it is there, it is displayed. So because the image is large, that is why it is being displayed like this. So what we can also do is we can simply give the width of the image and it will automatically take the same height as well. So we can say width of this image as 100 pixel. So size here obviously will be in pixels. So when I give the size into pixels, you will notice that the image is in 100 pixels. Height and width both will be 100 in this case. We can, if we want to give it separately, like we want to give a head width as 100, height as 200, we can give that. But if we don't give anything, then automatically whatever width is given, the same height will be taken. Whatever height is given, the same width will be taken. Fine. So you can test that as well. So since this HTML is pretty very basic things I'm talking about, so that's why I'm not wasting much of the time on that. So most of you might have already learned HTML, but just to ensure that these basic things are discussed, that's why I'm using this. So we can also have what we can have the list being created. We can have an ordered list, we can have the unordered list, we can have the definition list. So we can create list as well. So let's just create the list. I'll be creating a UL unordered list. So unordered list is like bullets, right? And the list item LI. So any list item that we want to create, like let's say apple, banana, mango and all that. So I'll create 2, 3. So I'm creating the fruits list, which is unordered. Let's save it. And there we go. You can see this list being created. Similarly, like an unordered list, we have an ordered list as well, OL. So in ordered list, if we give the list item, at that time it will be a numbering. So we have bullets and we have numbering here. So let's save it so you can see that difference. So like we have the ordered list, we can even give the properties for this ordered list and all that. So which is like I can say ordered list. This starts with what? Start the order list with maybe 5. So this will be 5, 6, 7, right? 5, 6, 7. Similarly, what we can also have is we can have the type of this being defined. So we can just say type of this, and the type which I want is as for now it is 5, 6, 7, right? So I can give a capital A, B, C and all that. So it will start from 5 of ABC, that is EFG. So that way we can create, or if I give a small a at that time, it will be in small case. So that way we can create ordered list, unordered list. We can even have an ordered list can be a sub of unordered list, unordered list can be a sub list of an ordered list. Even that is all possible. Fine. So like for example, I have a apple, mango, banana, and then again within that I want to have an unordered list. Okay, so maybe again within that I want to have list items, and maybe two list items I want to have. Okay, let's say, yeah, well, let's not promote anything. So mango juice, mango shake is something which I want to have. Fine. So let's save it, and you can see that there is a sub list created within this mango itself. So since it is an unordered list, yeah, again, you can see this unordered list created here is of different type and here is of different type, right? So even the type of unordered list can be defined. You can create it as a disk, and you can create it as a circle and all that. So it can be defined with the unordered list as well. Similarly, if we want to display the data in terms of tabular format, so we can create a table as well in HTML. So let's go ahead and create a table. I will just send this particular file as one single file because I don't want to go to the Git and give you this separately, because it's quite an easy thing. And also you can refer W3 schools for every single HTML element and the detailed definition with a working example. You can, that's the best place where you can learn HTML. So we can create tables, and then tables definitely contains what, the rows and the columns. So to define a row, we use tr, table row, and to define columns within that we use table data. Either we can use table data, or if it is the heading of a table, we can make use of a th, that is table head. Fine. So let's create two columns for this, two table heads, th/th. So these two will be what? Let's say name of the user and maybe what, age of the user. So first row contains the name and age. If you see it here, so it is arranged in tabular format. So although you cannot see the borders of this because I did not define it, so if you want to see it as a table, so at that time what I can simply do is I can just go ahead and add the border here, maybe 2 pixel border. If I add, so there will be a 2 pixel border added to this table. So I can even increase the width of this table. Width is equal to, suppose if I say 50%, we can even give the widths, heights or anything into percentage. If I give it in percentage, it means that 50% of page has to be filled with this table. So save it, you can see that 50% of the page is filled with this particular table. That way we can define it. And also we can create more rows here. So the next row I want to display the name of the user, and since this is not a table head now, so I want to just give the name, maybe Virat, and then close the table data, then again a table data, and maybe 36 I'll give, and then the TD is closed, another table row is closed. So second row should contain the name and the uh, age of that particular user. Since it is th, by default it is aligned at center. So since it is td, it is not aligned at center by default. Yes, you can even align the text. You can use css for this, which would be a better option to align and do all this stuff with the table. Fine. So that's how we can create tables. And also an important, this table will be an again very important part of our project, because a lot of data we will pick up from the database and we will we will display it in a tabular format. Okay, so similarly what we can have is we can even create forms with HTML, and obviously the forms are used to collect the user input. So here comes one very important component of HTML, that is the HTML forms. Fine. So let's create a HTML form, and this form will allow us to take the input from the user. So I'll be creating some input elements for you. So I'll be creating an input type is equal to text, that actually creates a text box for us. Fine. So if we want to identify this particular text box, then we can give the name to the text box so that we can identify it. Fine. So now the name of this text box, we can just say it is username. And with the text boxes, you can either create labels or you can create a placeholder. So I'll create both. I'll show you what a label does and what a placeholder does. So first example, I'll take a placeholder here. So a placeholder, and I will just call it as username. So in the output, you will see how it is displayed. And another input I will be creating, maybe this time I'll create it as input type is equal to password. Fine. So that creates a password field for me and name is equal to pass. And instead of creating a placeholder for this, what I'd like to do is I'd like to create a label for this. Fine, label, and that would be password for me. Fine. So similarly, we can create a lot more HTML input elements. So as for now, what I'll do is I'll simply create a input type is equal to a button I want to create. It will be a submit. So upon clicking of this particular button, your form will be submitted. And here, let's just call it as a login form. And let's simply close the form and save it. So my form is already closed. So I'll not write this. So just save it. And here we go. We have actually created a form here. So you can see that this is a placeholder here. Okay, we can just see that username is being displayed here, username. So we can type text, and this is the password field that we have created here, and this is the label that is being displayed with the password field. And if I enter anything inside the password field, it will not be visible because it's a password field which is used for protecting your input. So for security reasons, it will not be visible. Similarly, we have a lot more HTML input elements. So you can obviously, I'll show you a few of them. And there were some of the elements that were introduced into HTML5, like for example, input type is equal to, if you want a calendar control, you can simply say input type is equal to date. At that time, calendar control will be created for you. So you can see that calendar control is being displayed. And we have input types like we have radio buttons and all. Input type is equal to radio. So at that time, a radio button will be created for you. Fine. So you can see that. Also, what I will do is generally radio buttons are used for what? For selecting the genders, right? So let's create a radio button, and then let's actually create two radio buttons, one for male and one for female. So a radio button and then a male and then female. And what I want is I want a line break here. Okay, so let's save it, and you can see that two radio buttons are created, but at that time, at one single time, there should be only one radio button to be checked, right? But both the radio buttons are being checked here. What is the problem now? So by default, radio buttons will not be created this way, that you select only one. Radio buttons has to be put up into a group so that it becomes a radio button group, and out of that particular group, only one radio button can be selected. So how do I put these radio buttons into one group so that only one of these two radio buttons can be selected? Or even I can create one more radio button and then just call it as other, and out of these three I want only one of the radio button to be selected. So at that time, what I can simply do is I can give a name to this radio button. Let's call it as gender. So if I give a same name to all of these radio buttons, at that time what happens is it will fall into the radio button group. So if it is a radio button group, at that time, out of this particular group, only one radio button will be selected. So radio buttons are actually meant to be a single selection. Like if you want to have multiple selection, at that time your input type should be a checkbox, not a radio button. So we can also have input types as checkboxes, so that actually creates a checkbox for us. So let's have another line break, and input type is equal to, let's create the checkboxes for this. So input type is equal to checkbox. Let me create three checkboxes, and this checkboxes would be for languages known, and the name would be what? Language. So if I can also put all of these checkboxes into as one group of checkboxes, so that whatever is selected is being can even be stored into the database. So here I'll just say English, I'll say Kannada, and then I'll say Hindi here. So let's save it, and there we go. Here we have a checkbox, and the checkbox is multi-selection, so even if you put it inside the group, you can select more than one checkbox. Fine. So that way, and this is a submit button. If you click on this, your form will be submitted. Fine. And the reason why I gave this name and all to the text boxes, so if I write test and if I click on submit, you can see that username is equal to test is being displayed here. If you don't give a name to the text boxes, you'll not probably find this particular data being transferred to some other page. Fine. So that way we can make use of the form controls. So there are much more form controls that you can try. You can try the sliders, you can try the text areas, you can try the uh, checkboxes, radio buttons I have already shown you. You can try the uh, time thing. You can try uh, the drop downs. You can try instead of creating input type as form, you can create a select, and then you can try the drop downs. You can try the list boxes and all. So let me show you one example of how drop downs are created, that is created actually using a select. Okay, and now uh, I'll just create the options here. So select option, and I'll create what, maybe again apple, mango, banana and all that. So I just want to create uh, drop down for the same, and mango. So let's just save it and see how a select looks like. So you can see that I've created a drop down. Like a drop down, we can see drop down is single selection, a list is multiple selection. So we can create a drop down like a list as well. So we can just copy this and just put a multiple property equals to multiple for this. So we should be able to create a list where we can select more than one element. Fine. So to select more than one element, we have to hold control. Some people, what they do is they just create it like this, and then they keep on clicking on these elements, and then they say that while you were clicking on these elements, more than one element was executed. When I am creating it, why more than one is not being selected? Fine. So this way we can create the select tag as well. And similarly, we can have the divisions, and we can have the spans, that is inline containers, which I have already shown you above. So like we created a span, we can create divisions, which is a block container. So two things can be created, either a block container or a inline container. Fine. So let me just go ahead and create a division, which is a block container. So I will say what let's just call it as this is a block. And also what I will do is I'll just give some style to this so that we can differentiate this. And let's give the background color of this any color. We will take maybe this. And similarly, what I will do is I will create a span which I created above. So let's create a span and also close the span, and we will call this as inline. Okay, so either spans can be used or divisions can be used. Only difference with the division is that division is a block container and span is a inline container. So let's give it a blue color. So let's save it, and there we go. So we should be having a span, and then we should be having a uh, inline, that is the span, and the block container, which is a division. Fine. So this way you can create it. So you can notice that division has acquired everything. So it has taken the entire block here, whereas span is inline. So whichever, whatever is written here, up to that only span has taken the space. Fine. So that way we can create the simple HTML tags. And also what we can do is we can use semantic tags, like it can be a header, it can be a footer, it can be main content, or it can be navs and all that. So we can create nav bars, we can create buttons and everything. So there are a lot of things that we can create with HTML. Also what we can do is we can even integrate the HTML pages. Like for example, if I want to integrate a map into my HTML, or maybe a video into my HTML, I can simply go and get the map, or maybe an video or anything. So if I want to integrate a map into my HTML page, at that time what I can do is I can simply go ahead and say that uh, I'll go to the Google Maps. Okay, so let's go to Google Maps and find out anything that we like. Maybe I would like to search for what anything. Let's say MG Road Bangalore, or yeah, I want to search for this. So this is MG Road Bangalore, and maybe some location on MG Road. Yeah, metro station. So I want to actually give the map of this MG Road metro station. You can say just give an image. If I give an image, then the customer will not be able to find it out that way. Some websites you might have seen that they give you the map itself, right? So if you want to integrate those things, what can be done, right? So if I say that metro station, so this is something which I want to integrate into my application, right? So that should be a share option here, no directions. Yeah. So here is there MG Road Metro Station. You can click on share and then you can click on embed map, copy this HTML, okay, and go to your HTML page and just say that outside this form. Oh, you'll say metro station, and below this, I'd like to have this map. So just paste whatever you have copied from there. And what I'll do is I'll also give the size to this. Fine. So let's check whether the height and width are given or not. Yes, the height and width is given 600, 450. So whatever size of map you want to display, you can display that. So let's give 400, 400. Save it, and you will notice that on your HTML page, let's close this. On your HTML page, you will now see a map being displayed. So if it is a map, you can actually uh, scroll like this, drag it, and then see the other places as well. If it was an image, you will not be able to see it. Fine. So that way you can integrate a map, or similarly in the same way you can also integrate a YouTube video on your HTML pages. So generally you might have seen a contact page and there they might be displaying you the maps and everything. So that way you can make use of the contents which can be displayed on your HTML page. So I want you to again try for a YouTube video. Nothing extra will be done. Simply go to any of the video of your choice. You click on share. There you will get an option called as embed. Uh, embed that. So copy it and just put it into your HTML file. So you'll be able to put up a video there. You can also create a video tag and give the location of a local video which can be played into your HTML page. You can create an audio tag and play an audio into your HTML page. You can use tons of other uh, tags that are available into HTML. So since my focus is not really on the concept of HTML, so my main focus was on the input types. So I also encourage you to look for some of the input types. Like in this case, I have used an input type is equal to text, and I have used a password. I use the radio buttons, check boxes, and then the select, either select with single value or select with multiple value. Similarly, you can go ahead. I have used date control as well. So you can go ahead and look for more of this. You can go for the text areas and all that. So other inputs you can see. Fine. So you find out those things, and the best learning place for HTML is your W3 schools, where you will find a lot more things about HTML. I also want you to look for more of the formatting tags and all that. So yes, definitely these formatting and all we will not do directly with HTML, but we will be doing it with the concept of CSS. So in our next session, we will talk a bit about the concept of CSS. I hope in this particular HTML session you have seen the basics, very basics, very fundamental of HTML. And in the next session we will talk about the CSS. And yes, in HTML, once again, HTML5, there are a lot of things that can be created with HTML5. The models can be created, and the other things can be created, the sliders and all that can be created using HTML. But as for now, my focus is not on that particular thing. So whenever, if I'm using it in my website like this nevs and all, so if we are using it in our website, I'll show you how do you do it. Plus creating models and everything requires actually a uh, JavaScript with it. So if we know JavaScript, then creating models would be easy for us. Fine. So similarly, there are other things like you can create frames into HTML. You can create Like an iframe was created when we were embedding the map, so you can create iframes with the source of your own HTML page also. So an HTML page will be displayed into an iframe. So that way we can create a lot more things with HTML. So as for now, I'm creating only these things. You can create buttons and the other things also. I encourage you to look for more of the HTML controls. So simply what you can do is you can go for the W3 schools, and from there you can actually learn the HTML, and they actually give you every single thing with details. Fine. So like for example, we discussed about the HTML list. We have only discussed about what? An ordered list, unordered list, right? DL should also be there, a description list. So you can see that DL description list is also there. So if you can simply just click on this, try it yourself. So you'll have an editor, and you have this, see here, the head description list is given, DL and DT is being given to you. So likewise, you can keep creating the uh, HTML tags. You can keep using the HTML tag, whichever tag you want to see. You can simply go there and go for the tags like the list or anything. You can go and check for the list. Maybe if it is an unordered list, you can go here, check for the unordered list. You can try on yourself. There we go. So likewise, there are other tags available. So I encourage you to look for these tags. What I have discussed is very basic HTML tags. So I want you to explore more of this HTML form controls. The input types, we have discussed few of the input types. That is, we discussed about the checkbox, we discussed about the date, and we discussed about what? Password, right? Password and submit. Text, password, submit. So there are other things like time, URL, week, radio, number, month, email. So all that I encourage you to check. So it is pretty simple and straightforward. So you will also have the uh, examples being given to you, so you can simply try on yourself and then see what exactly this things do for you. Fine. So you can see that the labels are also being created here, right? So we have talked about the labels. Fine. So input type, password, how password fields work, and then the other things. So that way I want you to explore more of this HTML form controls, the input types, form attributes, how form actions work and all that. It'll be better. Fine. The form action in the sense, from one page to another page, if you want to navigate, you can make use of a form action and then give the location. It'll navigate to that particular page. Fine. So as the time progresses, we will definitely look for this form actions, and the method, maybe it can be a method post, or by default it can be a method get as well. So as the time progresses, we'll definitely go for that. And as I told you, you can have an audio being displayed on your page. You can put up a video and give the URL for that video, and then you can display videos like that. So this is the video, local video can be played, or if you want an YouTube video to be played, you go to YouTube and then click on share and embed that, like we have embedded a map, right? So that example is also, I think it should be there. Fine. You can simply use iframe and embed this. Location can be given, but it is better if you go to an YouTube video, click on share, and then you will get this iframe entire stuff. Fine. So these are all HTML5 APIs, the geolocations and the web storage and all. Yes, we will talk about this geolocation, and we will talk about the web storage in our later sessions. Hopefully, when we come to either in JavaScript, we will talk about this, or maybe at least in Angular, we will talk about this, because geolocation is used to get the coordinates, and the local storage will definitely be used when we are navigating from one page to another page. We want the data to be stored, so there we will be using the local storage. So definitely whatever will be required, we will be discussing on that. Fine. So there are other HTML things that are available. So I want you to just go through with some of them, mostly the form things you go through with this. And as the time progresses, you will learn these things one after another. Because when you are creating websites, you definitely will understand, acha, I want to create this, create that and all. So there you will understand what will be required for you. Fine. So that's it from my side in this session of HTML. and we will be talking about the concept of CSS in our next session. So as I told you, for HTML, CSS and JavaScript, I will not take much of these sessions. We will try to finish it off as early as possible so that we can go to our main technology in UI, that is going to be Angular. So see you in the next video. If you like in the series, do comment on the videos and share it for a better reach. Thank you.